So, today we're gonna be talking about the son of death itself following the steps of Dante from Devil May Cry, as best as he could on this little thing. It really sounds weird to call the PSP classic nowadays. I mean, I'm old, so I decided to make a series where I explore games from the old days that my kid self would have enjoyed. Without much further ado, we have 3 games from said console and we'll see how the first impressions go. And we'll start with Dad Jr.
DJ, the bus is here.
Based on the franchise of the same name, Dead Jr. is a launch title from the PSP that focuses on the titular skeleton kid who was sent with his classmate to a museum in order to make a report for class. However, his friend Pandora tried opening a box. Afterwards, DJ himself opens it, which releases an evil present that captures his friends. After Hero obtains a conveniently placed pair of pistols nearby, he starts an adventure to release his body from this evil predicament. This is from the mid 2000s, alright? That was quite an era, let me tell you. Many people were going through their edu phase, listening to rock, watching the Matrix movies, Blade, Mortal Kombat games for the PS2, Drake of the 99 Actually, let's not bring that one up. Listening to Linkin Park, Evanescence, emo, god, and punk were quite the common words to hear back then. Also, Invader Sim, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, well, enough dwelling on the past. Also, if you Google Dead Jr., you'll get monthly results of the game. There was a web page, but it is down now. I'm also fully aware that there is a comic which is well preserved on the Internet Archive if you search for it. I haven't read it myself, but I've heard good things about it, so you have the option to check it out if you're interested. Back in the game, you have to save DJ's friends by collecting puzzle pieces needed to restore their souls. Each character has their own world, and each world has multiple levels, and each world has its own theme, such as Mid-World or a School World, and they're all put together in a hub level based on the museum. Now, on the combat. This is a hack and slash shooter where you gotta take down lots of enemies to move from area to area. It also has some platforming. Right from the get-go there's a flaw. With this being a game on the PSP, you're forced to deal with the lack of a right analog stick, meaning you don't have control over the camera, which is gonna be a problem that I'm gonna get into, alright. You can perform quick melee attacks with the sight, your only means of hand-to-hand combat. You can perform some nice combos which the game will give a rank to at the end of every level. The combos also get stacked up with the destruction of the environment, so you're encouraged to cause vandalism with whatever tools you have and not give your thumbs any rest. You also have ranged guns, multiple even. Your pistols are good starting weapons. They have infinite ammo. You gotta continue pushing the button to keep on shooting. The other guns that you unlock do need ammo, and the game is generous enough to give you more than enough packs to never fully run out, but also barely enough so you keep changing weapons often to save for later. Some weapons also work as tools, more on that later. Enemies can attack with both range and melee, so you're gonna get used to move a lot during fights. You gotta press the dodge button quite a lot. You're dancing to survive here, and as you can tell, I'm not a very good dancer. Once you kill enough enemies, you can walk closer to a sticky wall of meat and the souls you collected will clear the path. It's quite intuitive to just kill every enemy on sight before proceeding, though sometimes you might miss some enemies and have to return. Sometimes I got dragged against my will to give the souls in the middle of a combat. It's not the most problematic thing, but it sure happened to me a few times. And speaking of annoying things, the camera. Yeah, whenever I move into closed spaces, I lost track of the enemies, and while the game has a targeting system, you can only target what's in front of you, not on the sides, exactly in front. And to make matters worse, you can't see during this boss fight that I was simply firing while moving, but randomly the targeting stops for no reason and I had to stop and move into position to put it back. That's not very helpful. Just look at me being surrounded and having to move around and how to end this fucking thing. Oh wait, I could just switch to melee. There are also traps like these huge chunks of meat that really made things difficult with demons firing at me from afar. Even though I realized I could have attacked the meat itself, I still had to avoid the shots coming to me. The game gets really intense really early on. Combat manages to keep things fresh by introducing new enemies. Since this is a first impression video, I'm not well aware of the variety, but from what I've seen, I'd say it offers a healthy amount. You can also, you have to shoot at them with the infinite pistol at a safe place so you can avoid damage. Especially useful when it's a whole squad of ranged enemies together. Another thing, make sure to talk to the Fuse Twins to unlock new weapons after finishing a level, because some of them are necessary to progress, and if you don't get them when you need to, you can end up in a situation like this where you have no idea what to do until you watch a let's play on YouTube and figure out, oh, I don't have that gun, of course, and then you have to leave the level and get the gun and do the whole thing again. The game also has a life system that works like this: 4 lives. Lose one, you respawn to a nearby checkpoint. You don't have to kill the same enemies again. But if you lose all your 4 lives, it's back to the beginning of the level with your progress removed. This game is tough, dude. On the platforming, you're gonna use your sight for non-combat functions to grab hooks and climb. You can also do wall jumps in specific areas. It controls well, and even though it takes a while to get the hang of, I believe it's mostly fun. Just be careful not to fall in the lava, which, by the way, it doesn't instantly kill you. It just keeps hurting you until you find your way out of there. And of course, what would life be without some annoying kamikaze enemies that push you away and reduce your health to smithereens? This is certainly a game that would benefit from a remaster. In fact, I heard about it thanks to Pan Pizza from Rebel Taxi. Thanks to his video, I got inspired to try it out. Also, I learned from him that this game was intended for Xbox, but they decided to change it to PSP since it was new. That would explain why the controls are such a hassle, and I know I already complained about them, but what can I say? It's not a mere detail, it's a feature that's present through all the game and you can't ignore it. Konami wasn't having a good day with their employees back then. And I doubt it's any better nowadays. But there is soul in this game. There is an awesome Xbox game here, but due to the powers from above, it had to become a PSP game with clunky controls. The charm is here, but at the cost of frustration. If you're willing to endure the control, then this is a gem worth trying. It is honestly enjoyable, a good thing to play on a portable device while on the toilet, but not the most memorable game you can get on this console. It has an undeniable charm as well as a challenge that may be an issue if you're used to having 2 sticks to help with aim. So enough about this game, let's move on to the next title. Now, we're talking about a game about a vampire hunter which had an animated adaptation not too long ago. Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles is a PSP remake of Castlevania Rondo of Blood, an old game from the TurboGrafx-16 console, or the PC Engine as it was known in Japan, which is a confusing name for a video game device. As for the story, An evil cult performed a ritualistic sacrifice which resurrected Dracula. First thing the Lord of the Vampires does after waking up is attack a village and steal a damsel. Little did he know that a certain lady was Richter Belmont's beloved. Now our favorite vampire hunter is ready to fight to get her back and stop evil once again. I gotta mention that I'm a fan of the Castlevania series. I haven't played every game ever made. I do happen to be familiar with the original Rondo of Blood. This is a side-scroller where you move from level to level. Jump, do attack, it's simple but effective. The enemies have attack and movement patterns. You must learn how to dodge them and find the right time and place to strike. You have multiple weapons to achieve so. Your whip for basic attacks, but you also have a slot for interchangeable weapons, which include holy water, knives, axes,
the Bible. This is the Bible. You question the words of the mighty Jimmy?
Also, one cool detail is that there are alternate routes you can take. Here, you can see this room. If you knock these walls down, you can enter this route where you fight this boss and reach this level. Or you can just follow the beaten path and fight this other boss and reach this other level. It's a nice way to offer replayability. Naturally, like in any game, you're gonna get sloppy at times, especially when learning enemy patterns from both bosses and regular ones. This is a remake of a game that's even older than the PSP, and it shows. This is not an easy game, but it's fun getting the hang of. This game also includes the original Rondo of Blood and Castlevania Symphony of the Night, as well as a boss rush mode. You can unlock them first though. This is certainly a game that should be included in the next Castlevania collection. I can't say if it's better or not than the classic, but I can say it's worth trying by any means you have. I don't have much to say. It's a classic that offers a decent amount of content and will provide a simple yet challenging fun. Speaking of fun fact, this title so happens to be a prequel to Castlevania Symphony of the Night, the one that popularized the term Metroidvania and basically made it a genre that many indie developers will later capitalize upon. And I mean by a lot. Just look at my collection. Why are there so many Metroidvanias made by indie developers? If you're tired of them, let me remind you that the game I'm reviewing is not a Metroidvania. It's a linear platformer that allows you to take different routes. By the way, you can also unlock a new character to play as. I didn't play enough to get footage of her, but here she is. Now, with nothing more to add on, let's go to the next game. So, today we're going to be talking about police brutality on wheels. Pursuit Force is an action vehicular combat shooter. Yeah, that's like a weird mixture of words, but hear me out. This is a game where you spend most of the time driving cars and then jump to other cars as a method of cleaning out the streets of thugs that belong to multiple factions that want to take over the city of Capital State. A name slightly less basic than Townsville from the Powerpuff Girls. You're part of an agency that intends to make the city a better place. And as you play, you unlock different ranks which will unlock new missions for you to play. The protagonist does not have a name, just enough details to be a vessel for the player to get involved with the game. You have a variety of missions such as eliminate enemies before they escape, follow a target without being caught, escort a target to safety from enemies, protect civilians from criminal attacks.
Please, I don't want to die a virgin.
Just to name a few, most of which are performed while on vehicle chases, whether it be in cars, motorcycles, or boats. Oh, there's also on-foot sections. You're gonna jump from cars a lot. You gotta be close enough and press the button to quickly do so. But don't think you're safe yet. You gotta learn when to take cover from the thugs sitting on the vehicle that will shoot you on sight. Once you take them down, you can drive the vehicle and repeat the process with the next vehicle. It's an intense combat where you're gonna be close to your enemies all the time, so you're gonna keep stepping on the gas to not be left behind, and trust me, you don't want to be far away from your target in this game. Most of my game overs were due to me crashing into things that slowed down and basically set me up for failure. The cover mechanic is not easy to understand at first. You gotta hide as soon as you get in the vehicle, so they start blasting a few times before they suddenly stop, and then you proceed to shoot them as fast as possible. Be mindful that you're gonna get some damage inevitably. Also, don't want to hold cover for too long or you will fall on the floor. Thankfully, you can recover health by just driving while avoiding combat for a bit, and it will regenerate just a little, so you can strategize when to be still and safe to then continue attacking. But don't take too long because, like I mentioned, you don't want to be left behind. You're in constant race against the criminals.
One of those delegates is on your hands. Your only connection to the force is gonna be a pair of handcuffs. Turn in your badge.
As you've noticed so far, this is a game where being slow is a huge mistake that you don't want to make. Unless during the foot sections, this is the only time where you can just kill a few, get on your knees, then rest, then shoot more and continue. Not very exciting personally. Besides the ability to recover health, the game also has checkpoints within the missions, being pretty useful to me, and given how intense the combat is, I'd say this just keeps things just challenging enough. Something I must speak out, however, this boss fight in particular was quite a pain in my ass. It took me many attempts to even get the hang of it. You gotta take down a sniper that will easily kill you if you don't keep moving around to avoid the shots. Sounds simple enough, but then other guns show up and you can't ignore them, since not only they're helping the boss, but also you need to get their guns to make better damage. And since you can't stop moving, you better accept that there will be times when you will lose aim and therefore being unable to shoot him. Did I mention you gotta kill him before he escapes? But I did find a solution. A very complex strategy that made me consider my approach to fight the boss. Not by trying harder, but rather smarter. I obtained victory with a smart move that challenged me in a way I never was before. Basically, the boss and I got stuck behind a boat and yeah. Also, look at the driver. He knows he's got no chance out of this. He's lucky the protagonist ran out of police brutality points to expend. Probably the smartest AI in the whole game. The game has a variety of missions, all split into the factions you're gonna fight against. There are plenty. Just to name a few, you have the Warlords, a group of war veterans committing acts of terrorism and stealing military property. They use military devices. The Capelli family, basically the Italian mafia stereotype. They carry old-timey weapons. Also the Convicts, a group of escaped prisoners which use nail guns and sourdough shotguns and ride in modern cars. There are other two factors in the game, but with these examples we can see that each has their own identity, missions, vehicles, weapons, visuals, voice lines, and introduction cutscenes. During your missions, you'll be constantly getting yelled at by your boss, which will keep you posted about your missions and also insult you if you fuck things up.
Day late and $1 short again. If you can't keep a simple tale, you might as well drive a cab.
Pursuit Force is a fun action stylish game that doesn't take itself too seriously. I can assure you that it's a fun experience that offers variety and personality. A gameplay that really wants you to push the accelerator and fight tooth and nail with the city's scum that needs a daily dose of police brutality to learn their place. The game is available on the PlayStation Store for PS4 and 5, so it has been preserved in some capacity. Same thing can be said about its sequel, Extreme Justice, which I haven't tried yet. Also, let me know how the emulation works there. I've heard people had issues with emulating classic games on the PS5. Overall, a fun experience. Nothing more to say. So, that covers 3 games from the good old PlayStation Portable. A console I wish I had when I was a kid. I only tried a few times from an old friend back in the day and it was fun. I remember some military themed games and an Alien vs Predator one. Anyways, I believe plenty of their games need to be preserved for more people to try. Heck, only one of the games I mentioned has the privilege of being playable on modern capacity. As of the making of this video, Dead Jr. and Castlevania X Chronicles can only be played via the old cartridges. I mean, there's also other ways. I had fun with all 3 of these games. This was a longer video than my previous one. I'm yet to get familiar with this YouTube career I'm setting up for myself. I know it takes time to reach a more satisfying place, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. You wanna try some of them in the future? Remember to comment, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and see y'all next time.